All right, more rock stars coming your way. You ready for Dan Meuser? Yeah. Our U.S. representative, a conservative business leader who brings his experience as a proven job creator to Congress. In 2019, Dan Meuser was sworn in as a member of the 116th Congress representing Pennsylvania's 9th Congressional District. Dan attended the New York Maritime University as well as Cornell University on a Navy ROTC scholarship. Dan joined Pride Mobility Products in 1988, a small healthcare products manufacturer that he helped grow into a worldwide industry leader in the power mobility products world. Dan served as president of Pride USA for 7 years. In 2011, Governor Tom Corbett nominated Dan to serve as Pennsylvania's Secretary of Revenue. There, he worked to transform the Department of Revenue from a traditional tax collection agency into a taxpayer advocacy organization. Would you please welcome Congressman Dan Meuser?
Well, good morning. It's an absolute pleasure to be with everyone. Tom, thank you very much for that great introduction. Super to be here with all of you. Congratulations to the Pennsylvania Leadership Conference on another fantastic event. We are definitely on a roll here PLC's been going since 1989, driving force for people like us, conservative principles, bringing together all of us leaders, activists, policymakers who believe in liberty, limited government, our constitutional republic, and the foundation of the American dream, which is our freedoms. And thank you very much to Loman Henry, the entire PLC team, and everyone who makes this conference such a success each year. Hey, I think everybody was here for Kayleigh McInerney last night. I mean, was she great? I've met her several times before, but the personal stories on President Trump, who I've gotten to know well, were so appropriate and so important. He's such a generous gentleman who just has always in good spirit, to be honest with you. And her description, her discussion on the life issue, right? I mean, that was just poignant. It hit home, and it was something I think it was really important for all of us to hear. It was just very uplifting. Hey, congratulations to everybody here. All of us worked for victory in 2024, and we turned out the vote. And as our favorite president says, it was huge, all right? We won for the presidency. We won the Senate with Dave McCormick. We kept the House majority because of the 2 pickups that we had. So, and as we all know, the last administration, the idea of a continuation of the Biden-Harris or Harris-Biden, or maybe it was just a bunch of interns running that White House, I'm still not sure. We were on a catastrophic path. So we avoided that. National security was deteriorating. Economy was in reverse. Domestic energy production was just literally under attack. Yet all the while, we were saying, drill, baby, drill to the rest of the world. Gas backwards policy. The border was wide open. The world was unstable, not to mention the wacky, ideological social experiments like boys playing in girls' sports. That the Democrat Party thinks is something that's important for America. You know, at one point, I used to use the joke, the A to Z. And I want to share it with you really quick. You go A to Z on all the problems the Biden administration caused. A, Afghanistan. B, the border. C, crime. D, deficit spending. E, energy. F, let's go Brandon. So, all right, I'm glad I got you covered. So I'm very glad I don't have to tell that joke anymore. Very, very glad. And the good news is we replaced Let's Go Brandon with USA, USA, USA. How about it? And we now have a leader in the White House, President Donald J. Trump, who has a clear vision, a solid plan, and a courage to deliver much-needed results. And you know what that plan is called? It's called America First, baby. And as I stated, I've gotten to know President Trump well. And at his last rally in Pennsylvania, just south of here, southeast, in Reading, on November 3rd, I saw the president before the rally, and he was in good spirits. I said to him, I'm not going out to Pittsburgh with you, sir, so next time I see you, I'm going to be calling you president-elect. And he looked at me, and I can't tell you exactly what he said, but he just said, "Oh, I hope so." Just very genuine. And then I said to him, "We got nothing to worry about, sir. We're going to guarantee," and this was after seeing the returns that we had, seeing the mail-in ballots, seeing our registration numbers, thanks to all of you. I said, "We're going to guarantee a win in Pennsylvania." So he goes, "Well, I like the sound of that." So during the rally itself, he goes out, and towards the end, he's pointing out who's there, and he says, "Dan Meuser, my friend." And he said, "Dan, a little earlier, guaranteed me a win in Pennsylvania." And he said, "I sure hope he's right, because we're going to have one or two phone calls on November 6th. I'm either going to call him and say, 'Dan, thank you. Thank everybody in Pennsylvania.' Or I'm going to say, 'Dan, you let me down. You failed me.'" So I'm sitting in the crowd listening to this, thinking, "Oh, man, we better win. So thankfully, he's back in the Oval Office, and we're getting to work on delivering on the promises, and we're going to keep those promises that got us elected. Now, there's an old saying, you need to break a few eggs in order to make an omelet. So I think we've been seeing a few eggs being broken, and I have a theory that's maybe why the price of eggs is so high, but I don't know. That's a different theory. But seriously, what's been done in just the last few months? Border security. How about that metric? All right. Last March, over 7,000 illegals coming across a day. Can you imagine as well how much fentanyl and human trafficking and other outrageous, the death and chaos and cost on America? You know how many this past March? 250 a day. Folks, in less than 70 days, President Trump secured our border, by the way, without legislation, right? That fake media talked about to endlessly. So we, on the national security end, military recruitment is way up, as is patriotism. They go hand in hand. Hostages have been returned. The Middle East and Iran are on notice. Putin and Zelensky know we mean business. China, too, is on notice. Our adversaries are finally facing consequences, not handshakes and phony tidings. And regarding our economy, listen, we are restoring supply-side growth, America first growth, tackling inflation with long-term solutions. Inflation and gas prices are factually down since the president got in. We had a very strong jobs report just last month. Over $4 trillion, actually closer to $5 trillion in foreign investment has already come in, is already on its way in. Short-term volatility, ladies and gentlemen, in the stock market is not an indicator of our long-term prosperity, and the markets will come back, and we will deliver for the American people as we originally stated. We are about growth. That's one of the ways we're going to fix our debt and deficit, of course. We are going to have spending reductions and an aggressive energy policy. Interest rates will fall as inflation comes down. Capital investment will go up. Energy production is definitely on the rise. Tariffs, that we've heard a little bit about lately, are being used to increase domestic production. And ladies and gentlemen, seriously, over the last 25 years, free trade has been equivalent to unfair trade for the United States of America. And we're correcting it. And we're correcting it on Trump time, and the markets are having a tough time dealing with that. But he's got his fingers on the pulse of this situation, and I do believe it's going to work out in the manner that it's intended. As well, even last night, the Senate passed a bill triggering our reconciliation that we will vote on as well this coming week. And our tax policy, our regulatory policy will drive growth from the inside out. And of course, you well know we are delivering on the all-important savings from that organization known as DOGE. I sometimes refer to DOGE as attacking debt, overspending, and government expansion. It really, of course, stands for Department of Government Efficiency. And as sometimes you hear, we're not even up to the efficiency part yet. We're just dealing with the unbelievable level of inefficiencies. And the left and the swamp are fighting back like their life depends upon it, because I think it does. They're fighting against us. They're firebombing Tesla dealerships, cars, and GOP headquarters. They are truly a rebels without a cause, and their only cause really is big government that they can control, that runs contrary to the U.S. Constitution that we hold so sacred and near and dear. But quickly on the fiscal reality, look, we're at $36 trillion of debt and climbing. We had better right-size the fighting ship USA, or honestly, we will capsize. Our annual debt is $1 trillion, more than our defense spending. That's insane, right? When I came into Congress, it was about 225, during Trump's first term, 225 billion. And the federal budget has escalated from 4.6 trillion to 6.8. This is reckless, completely unsustainable. And Doge has pointed out things such as $59 million for hotel rooms, $9 million for illegal immigrants, $9 million for transgender opera in Colombia. You heard him express it at the joint session, the State of the Union that is referred to. And they're simply outrageous. It's low-lying fruit. I'm having the opportunity to work with Elon and his team somewhat regularly. I'm looking to codify much of what they're doing, and we're going to take care of at least $1 trillion in savings. I believe it. By the way, our agencies, it's not just the waste and fraud. The Department of Labor increased in size during Biden administration from $36 billion to $87 billion. Why? Why did it more than double during that time period? The EPA went from 8 to 12.5. The Education Department from 71 billion to 268. Insane. This needs to be corrected. The president is going to do it. He's going to deliver on his plan, and he will, frankly, make it happen. Here's my biggest concern and problem. I believe Pennsylvania is heading in the wrong direction. I think Pennsylvania is going to be left behind. I believe it's almost as if we have Joe Biden followed by Kamala Harris as our governors of our great Commonwealth. It's that bad. Tax spend, and throw it all into places that deliver no return on investment. Pennsylvania stays the course. We are never going to be, as I tend to talk about, the next Florida, Texas, Indiana, Utah. We are never going to be a leader among states and the best place to live. That should be our goal, the best place to live. We're going to be the next Illinois if we allow this to continue, leaving somebody like that, like Governor Shapiro in the governor's office. But our population is fleeing. They're not migrating to Pennsylvania, as they did in states like Illinois. Shapiro doesn't get it. He just passed a 9% increase in a budget with no concern for results. And again, Pennsylvania is being left behind. And the stats show it. We're number 41 in best places out of 50, of course, to start a business. 41. 27 in doing business. 37 in regulatory environment. I even find that hard to believe. I think we're worse than that. Number 34 in tax competitiveness. And this one, and number 39 in education outcomes. And you want to know what? 15 years ago, we were 14, 15. And you know what else? Florida used to be number 39. Today, Florida's number 9 or 10. So you're going to tell me accountability and school choice and things of that nature, and the right governor that's focused on delivering for the people with no nonsense in between, not caving to the interests of unions or whomever, and focusing on students and parents and their outcomes? That's what makes the difference. So this is an unacceptable situation. We need a Pennsylvania First agenda that similar to the America First, to revitalize our economy, be the energy dominant state, have responsible spending, have our more strategy to our infrastructure development. I don't see anything getting modernized. I barely see potholes getting filled. And regulatory reform, my goodness, regulatory reform. And folks, particularly within our agencies, that's something I know about. I was Revenue Secretary. We treated taxpayers like customers. I did my best to reform the agency into a taxpayer advocacy organization as opposed to a collection agency. And Council on State Taxation named us the most improved Department of Revenue during this time. Our costs went down 7%. Our complement went down 10%, meaning headcount, and our services improved. It can be done. It can be done. So, look, we've got these 2025 judge races. Really important for so many reasons. We know how important our judge races now are. We've got state house seats coming up. Of course, we're looking ahead here into 2026. We've got to set the tone this year. We've got to keep going with our registration, with our voter turnout, with our excitement, with our belief. You know, the left sees Pennsylvania as their last requirement, the last block in what they're trying to build to take over America. That's how they see it. And that's how they see Shapiro, and that's why we have to beat him. We're going to win state Senate seats. We're going to keep our House seats, if not improve, and we've got to win the governor's office. And as I just stated, the left knows that if they can capture and control Pennsylvania, keep this in mind, they believe they can control America. In order for us to have an America First agenda, we've got to have the governor's office. And my friends, we definitely need a governor who has a plan for Pennsylvania, not a plan for Pennsylvania Avenue. So stay tuned. As you can see, I have a great interest in this. Stay involved, stay active, let's stay together, and let's win the future for Pennsylvania and our country. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.